one can recall that in 2013, when serving as Minister of VROMI, I sponsored a project at the Phillipsburg Jubilee Library when we had solar panels placed on the roof of the library. It was to serve two purposes. One, of course, to reduce and help them reduce their electricity bill, which was the case. And being the library a place of information, we thought it was a good place to kind of jumpstart the educational process on St. Martin as far as solar energy is concerned. The library hosted several schools and organizations and individuals who came by to actually see how the meters were turning because of the solar energy that was generated. They provided graphs and charts of the amount of energy that was produced. Unfortunately, the contractor who installed it at the time said that they were easy to remove in the case of a hurricane because we would have ample notice that a hurricane is coming in our area. But unfortunately, when Gonzalo snuck up on us, nobody went on the roof to remove them, and several of them got damaged in that process. Ever since the system was kind of down, they had removed the others. They have managed to salvage 15 of the panels on the roof. The rest, the inverter that controls everything on the inside, is still fully intact. And they came to see me, the management, the director of the library, to see what can be done to get it started again. So I informed them that I will take the matter up with the Minister of VROMI, which I briefly discussed with him, and together we will look for a way forward to do this. As I said, it is important from an educational point of view, but for them also as library, it saved them quite a chunk on their electricity bill. The intention of it at the time was as well that the savings they would use initially to invest in LED lighting throughout the library, and the third phase would have been then to replace their old air conditioners that used a lot of electricity. Most of the electricity bill went to support their air conditioning system, and by replacing those with inverter air cores, you would then eventually lower the consumption, and then through the use of LED, make your own contribution to reducing the carbon print on St. Martin. I also last week met with the management of the fire department, and we discussed several things as the hurricane passes, but we also, importantly, great news for some young men and women who have been waiting for so long. People have applied for a job at the fire department as firefighters, but one of the things you would know is that it is costly to train firefighters. And when I say costly, it is not that, let's say, like a civil servant, you apply for a job as a civil servant and you're placed in a certain position. Firefighters, just like police officers, go through a training. And you do not train one police officer, you do not train one firefighter. You do not train 2 or 3 either. So a number of vacancies are accumulated, whether through debt, whether through retirement, whether one of the things that we've had is that several of our firefighters left to go to the best islands. Seemingly better offers were made, or in at least one of the cases, it is a young man originating from Statia that did a training here, worked here, and then went back to Statia. So all of that creates vacancies at the fire department, and we are now going to start the recruitment of a new team to do the training. Of course, people who want to apply are free to apply, but we have some 200 names already in the database of persons who have applied over the past years. A selection will be done from the existing database, but as I said, it does not prevent someone, because if you graduated from school, let's say a year ago, and you would be interested, one cannot say, well, you didn't apply 2 years ago, so you won't be considered. They would go through the database, and the best applicants would then be invited to join the training program. This weekend, I will be traveling to Curacao together with Mr. Patrice Gums of the Bureau of Foreign Affairs. It is a follow-up. You can recall last year we signed the Memorandum of Understanding for cooperation between the Dominican Republic and St. Martin, but it was sort of a kingdom memorandum because it is cooperation between countries of the kingdom and the Dominican Republic. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic will attend the meeting along with the 3 prime ministers of Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin. The meeting will be held in Curacao, and the intention is that we jointly coordinate the way forward in giving content now to the memorandum that was signed. At the time, I had indicated that one of the things that was agreed upon in the Memorandum of Understanding was the exchange of prisoners. So if we have, for instance, any prisoner of the Dominican Republic at our prisons here, we can repatriate them to the Dominican Republic. It is not an extradition, but instead of having a national of the Dominican Republic serving whatever prison sentence in St. Martin, he would be repatriated to his country to serve his sentence there. And similarly, if there are any St. Martiners or people from Curacao or Aruba who, for whatever reason, are serving a prison sentence there, they would be allowed to come home to serve their sentence.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C. Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. It's available at Van Godberdeen Madam Estate, Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville, and from all Lion members and at the Lion's Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
I'll get right into the answers to the questions to MP Rudolph Samuel. In the revised legislation, what would be the new trial period? Would it remain 2 months, or is between 24 months or a year? Is there a difference? Yes, there's a difference. The trial period of 2 months remains the same, whereas the 24 months to which you're speaking about is in reference to the maximum time period before an employee can be deemed permanent. It is proposed in the consensus document to change the 36 months to 24 months. In the English version, part of Article 652 is missing. This has already been provided to Parliament in writing. Please explain Article 657A. In Article 657A states that an employer is obligated to regulate the labor in such a manner that the employee does not have to perform labor on Sundays and on those days which are equated to Sundays. Sunday in our culture is meant to be a day of rest. However, in various industries, such as the hospitality industry, employees may be expected to work on Sundays and days equated with Sundays, such as public holidays. Based on Article 668A, Paragraph 1, Section B, can an employer send an employee home at the time an employee has received 3 labor agreements for a definite period of time, which have succeeded each other with intervals of not more than 3 months, and hire someone else? After each contract, the person can be sent home. According to the proposed legislation at Parliament, if an employee has received 3 contracts, then that contract by law becomes permanent, and the employee must go through the normal dismissal procedures to terminate. In the proposed amendment, it's shortened the number of contracts before an employee is deemed permanent from more than 3 to more than 2. What type of work is considered short-term labor? A short-term labor agreement is a contract that contains an end date, also known as a fixed-term contract. So very often this is referred to as the 6 months contracts, but in reality what we're speaking about are fixed-term contracts, which means exactly that, contracts which have a fixed termination date. How many employment agencies do we have, and how many persons are employed under these agencies? There are 4 employment agencies listed at the Department of Labor Affairs, and there are 261 persons listed under these agencies. Can you work for an employment agency for a short period of time? Yes, you can. When a director's license is requested, does an employment permit need to be requested, or is it given automatically? In reality, the director of a company does not require an employment permit. A few years back, 1,200 director's licenses were approved. Were employment permits given, and are they working in the companies that they requested? We're not quite clear what year is being referred to. However, as indicated before, directors do not require employment permits from the Ministry of VSA, but they only require a director's license from the Ministry of TIOT. How do we categorize the labor agreement between an employment agency and the employee? Who does an employee of an employment agency actually work for? Can they work for one business and then another, then work for another? The employment agency is considered the employer, and the employee may have multiple jobs at various companies via the employment agency. The employment agency sector is further regulated in the National Ordinance regarding the provision of laborers. Will this legislation govern the employment agency sector? As far as the employer-employee relationship is concerned, yes, this legislation applies to them. To MP George Panafet, please provide clarification on the legality of employment agencies. Are there articles of incorporation, and can the employers charge a fee and withhold money from the employees. The employment agencies are regulated in national ordinance regarding the provision of laborers. Article 2 stipulates that a permit from the Ministry of Health, Social Development, and Labor is needed to operate an employment agency. Presently, this law does not preclude employment agencies from charging a fee to both parties, meaning either employer, either to the client or to the employee. 2, there are several national ordinances that are part of the Civil Code. Is the matter of maternity leave, pensions, and sole proprietors also part of it? Maternity leave is regulated in Title 10, Book 7 of the Civil Code. Pension has its own ordinance, and for employees it must be regulated in labor contracts. And for sole proprietors, it is not regulated in the Civil Code. What impact studies will be done? Currently, no impact studies are scheduled to be executed related to this project. How does reporting to the Department of Labor Affairs work, specifically as it pertains to employees not receiving pay slips, persons who are being paid below the minimum wage, and security guards and others who have to work 12 hours with no overtime or compensation? Employees can visit the Department of Labor Affairs. Their complaint is then heard and booked in. Employer is then contacted for rebuttal to get all sides of the story. Parties may be brought together for mediation. If the employer is in breach, they are advised by us of what needs to be done. If the employer does not comply within the certain time frame allotted, the employee is advised to proceed through court, and if necessary, legal aid can be offered. Employee receives a letter at each point in the process, keeping them up to date on their case.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C. Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. Tickets available at Van Godberdeen, Madam Estate. Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville. And from all Lion members and at the Lions Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
The Culture Department would also like to inform the general public that any requests for subsidies for St. Martin's Day, which are being planned, are to be sent in by September 11th in order to be properly planned and budgeted. Also from the Department of Culture, in collaboration with the St. Martin National Commission, NatCom for UNESCO, we'll be hosting the second round of the National Intangible Cultural Heritage Consultations on Monday, September 4th, through Wednesday, September 6th, from 9 to 4 p.m. at the New Government Building Conference Room at the Swaliga Boulevard, right here in Phillipsburg. The theme for this activity is strengthening capacities for implementing the Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in St. Martin, and will be facilitated by Global UNESCO Facilitator Mr. David Brown of Jamaica. Persons interested in participating are asked to immediately contact Mrs. Marcelia Henry, Secretary General of UNESCO, via henrymarcelia@gmail.com. That is henrymarcelia@gmail.com, and or the Department of Culture Representative, Mrs. Shireen Alambi Duncan, Policy Officer of the Department of Culture at culturedepartmentofSXM@gmail.com. So those are the two persons guiding that process. This one had been initially postponed, but we were able to still pull it off September 4th to 6th. So those willing to be registered for that should contact these two young ladies as soon as possible.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Presently, from the moment a legitimate invoice is received and incorporated in the system, up to when payment is made, takes approximately 4 to 6 weeks. Of course, there are areas and there are debts, or claims I should put, that are not acknowledged by government or that has an aura of dispute. Such debts, since they are not acknowledged, are not considered debts until they are actually acknowledged as legitimate debts. Additional question by MP Irion Atwell was, are there any other ministries that are underspending that could balance out overspending by other ministries? As mentioned before, there are no ministries that are overspending. The budget is closely guarded, and only money is incorporated in the budget passed by Parliament can be spent by the ministries. Some ministries, for various reasons, spend less than has been budgeted. At the end of the year, in preparing the annual accounts of the country, the over and underspending is balanced out. If there is a surplus, that surplus goes to pay off outstanding debts. of the past. If there's a deficit, such deficit has to be compensated in the budget for the following year. I believe that addresses the questions that was raised by MP Atwell. MP Perry Hearings posed a question and asked me to explain what we should understand with the phrase financial management of the country. Financial management of the country consists of several components aimed at obtaining a timely, unqualified report from the auditors of the country on the financials of the country. In 2015, the Audit Chamber highlighted 12 of the most significant issues that need to improve in the financials of the country. It will take several years to address all of the 12 areas that the Audit Chamber highlighted. For 2017, our ministry has set as a goal to comply before the end of 2017 with 3 of these highlighted areas by the Audit Chamber. I refer to, it is expected that the 3 areas I refer to will be reflected in the annual account for 2017, which will be due sometime in 2018. And at that time, at least 3 more areas in 2018 will be addressed of the list of the 12 areas signaled by the Audit Chamber.